It has been 9 months since the war between Israel and Hamas began. The war has been taking toll on both parties. Maybe someone along the borderline will be wondering, what is wrong between the two groups? In this video, I will explain all that you need to know. It all started with Zionism. Zionism is an ethnic or ethnocultural nationalist movement that emerged in Europe in the late 19th century and aimed for the establishment of a Jewish state through the colonization of a land outside of Europe. The problem here is in the last line sentence, because the land that was in question was occupied by the Arabs at that time. But wait, Arabs were not actually the first occupiers. Let's go back to the 13th century wars between the Byzantine Christian and Muslim. The land of Israel shifted from Byzantine to Muslim rule, then to Seljuks in the 1070s. The Crusades in the 12th and 13th century saw conflicts between Christians and Muslims, with Saladin nearly conquering Jerusalem. The Mamluks stopped a Mongol invasion in the 13th century and ruled until the Ottomans took over in the 16th century, maintaining control until early 20th century. So with the troubled history, we can now maintain that the Arabs got the land through conquest. So does it mean that all the whole Jews were expelled? No, majority left due to fear for their life, but those who stayed were persecuted. Those who went to Europe around the 19th century started facing persecution, which was known as anti-Semitism. This brought about the suggestion of the Jews returning to their historical homeland. But there is a problem. The Arab has already lived in that area for so many years. Subscribe if you like this video. Let's continue. We can't talk about this without involving the British, because the British played a very major role in this story. During World War I, there was an Arab uprising, which was an armed uprising by the Hashemite-led Arabs of the Hejaz against the Ottoman Empire. And this was amidst the Middle Eastern theater of World War I. This war saw the end of the Ottoman Empire, but the victory wasn't achieved without the help of the British, who had actually promised, or will I say, tricked the Arabs into believing that once the victory is secured, they would be granted independence. But in the end, the United Kingdom and France divided what had been Ottoman Syria under the Sykes-Picot Agreement. This was viewed as an act of betrayal in the eyes of the Arabs. The Arabs were not happy about this development, but the worst was yet to come, and it actually came in the form of the Balfour Declaration of 1917, in which Britain promised its support for the establishment of a Jewish national home in Palestine.
This declaration saw a successive wave of the Jews coming back to what we now know as the Mandatory Palestine.
In 1936, the Arabs revolted against what was known as the Mandatory Palestine, which saw many Jews and Arabs killed in that area. This prompted the response of the British Army and Haganah, which was the main Zionist paramilitary organization that operated for the issue in the British Mandate for Palestine. When the British withdrew from the Mandatory Palestine, the Zionist forces conquered the territory and established the State of Israel, and over 700,000 Palestinians fled or were expelled. And this is the reason why the Arabs hate the Israelites.